Hello, Herman.
Hey, can you hear me again?
Yeah, I hear you well.
Okay.
How are you?
Were we live?
Yeah, we are. Oh, your
Okay.
answer is gonna depend, huh?
Well, no, I mean, some of these things people want to hear, so I'd rather just do it live than a private conversation.
I understand. Just keep teasing you. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I feel good, Ingen. I think I figured out my elbow problem,
Hmm.
and over the last couple of weeks, my elbow is night and day. I went from pain in any position, like palm up or defensive. Jonathan and I would only kind of arm wrestle in the center of the table. Now I can arm wrestle everywhere, and I feel really strong. So I'm pretty excited.
Oh, but just because you are strong, you are healthy, does it mean that like you trained enough
Yeah, well, Jonathan and
already?
I, we're arm wrestling 5 days a week, probably minimum.
Oh, really?
And
Oh, then you are well
yeah,
trained.
yeah. So like, I'm still a little bit sore, but I think it takes time. So I think I have to be strong because we're pulling a lot, and Jonathan's a very strong training partner.
Yeah, Herman, is your training, by the way. Hello, Joshua. How are you?
Good, good, good. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, same. Great to see you guys. I was gonna ask you, Herman, your training always only like table time. You don't do anything else?
That's what we're doing right now. But if you look at the best version of myself, I was typically lifting weights 3 times a day and arm wrestling 1 time per week. That's what I've always done.
But
I'm
is
not
it? Do you think that you can continue doing this like 5 days a week, table time, and then you can still be healthy? It's interesting that you do this and you feel healthiest ever.
Yeah, I think it's sustainable. I don't see any reason why I would stop doing it. What changed was Jonathan moves 5 minutes away, so it's easy for him to come to my house every day. And when Crossy came down, he said, "You need to arm wrestle every day. You need to arm wrestle all the time." And so I said, "Okay, well, I'll try it." And personally, right now, I'm not too motivated to go to the gym by myself. But if Jonathan knocks on my door, I really don't have a choice but to arm wrestle. So right now, that's easier than lifting weights. So I mostly arm wrestle. I mostly arm wrestle for him, but it helps me.
Yeah, but that's interesting. Even when I was very young, like 20, 22, 23, every day arm wrestling, I don't think I could recover. And I think you are over 30, right?
Yeah, I'm 33, and I'm shocked too. I'm surprised. I mean, because we're going pretty hard, so I'm really surprised that it's working.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Wow. And you, Josh, how is your arm?
It still hurts. I mean, it's getting better, but very, very slowly. I'm hoping it's going to be okay by October. But I'm training. It doesn't affect me too much in practice as long as I avoid 2 specific positions. So I've been practicing as usual, and I just have to be careful with my range of motion when I lift. So it hasn't been like a huge detriment, but it's definitely, I'm probably like somewhere between 20 and 30% weaker than I was at Worlds last year, right-handed. So anyway, I'm hoping it's going to improve continuously until October. Lefty, I feel great. So no big complaints.
I understand. Victor, my friend, where did you see that John is gonna join here? It is because I put one of the posters of the East versus West. Yeah, I mean, it clearly says here, East versus West podcast with Herman Stevens and Joshua Grant. I didn't say Joshua Augustine Grant because it doesn't have enough room for all the, letters. Yeah. So, but I don't think that I said that I'm gonna go in live with John. It was only one of the posters I found, and I just put it there. Because I don't know how to make thumbnail and to already with Joshua and Herman. So do you guys miss being part of the event?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I keep definitely, I mean, first of all, there's some of us that arm wrestle and take it really seriously and love it probably as much as any of the other guys on the card, but we're not at that elite level. We're like sub-elite people. So, for us to be involved in stuff like that, just because we might have a match that's going to end up being really good, or it makes sense for where we're at in our careers, it's a great opportunity to have. And, it's certainly something I'm very grateful for. And it's just being around all those guys. I mean, I know a lot of the East and West players from being at World for so many years and obviously living in the States. And it's super fun to be around. And so, yes, I miss it.
Yeah, it was, how to say, I mean, how do you see, Herman, the progress of East versus West? Do you think it's progressing in some ways, or?
It's definitely progressing in the fact that you have less matches. So I don't know about you, Ingen, but personally, I sleep better at night.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't have it. It's 16 matches I have in August. The first
Oh, you
event
still have
was
16?
16. Yeah, first event was 16, and then 11. First event that you guys competed was 11, and
Yeah.
then it went up to 16, went down to 13, and now up to 16 again. So it is.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah,
you had cut
and
it down to 10 or something, or maybe next
no,
time.
no,
Next time.
November. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to do that. I'm having some fight with myself, like mind says something, emotion says something, but this time mine is gonna win.
Yeah. Nice.
That's good
Yeah,
to hear.
I think the events are great. I think you got a lot of good matchups. I mean,
Yeah.
I question sometimes whether I should be on the stage, like even the couple
Yeah.
times you invited me, because the talent level is so
Yeah.
high. I might even question the Coach Ray and Ryan Bowen match, but it's a good mix. You know what I mean? Like you have some really super high level, and you have some matches that I think people really want to see. So I think it's a good balance.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
fun, and having
thing-
matches like that gets people to watch. And sometimes you want to see people that are just popular on YouTube to see what they're doing in real life. So it's good to have a mix. It's fun to have the superstars, but it's also fun to have matches that are going to be enjoyable to watch.
I mean, I was gonna pull Ryan, and then I canceled. I mean, it is very, very hard to organize and compete, and I'm still recovering from bicep injury, and I owe Ryan a replacement match, and he chose Ray. So I think it is like a good opportunity for Ray as well, that he's gonna be. I mean, of course, Ray is a great puller, but it will be even greater for him to be on the competing on the same stage with all those legendary pullers. It is Ray is also one of the guys that have been helping me right from the beginning, as you guys do, and I will always appreciate you, Herman, and you, Joshua, right from the beginning. You guys are the founders of the East versus West. I mean, everyone should know this. I owe you guys a lot.
Likewise. Thank you, man.
And then Ingen, you asked if we miss being in that environment. I've always tell people, I don't think they really understand. I know Josh has been to Worlds. I've been to Zloty. It's completely different. And I can't speak for other countries, but it's completely different than what an American would feel here. I mean, I've been to the big WAL tournaments. I've been to the big UAL ones, and they're crazy. But typically, even at those events, I would go in a room and I'd go, okay, maybe there's like 10 people like me in this room, serious back then, serious training all the time. When I went to Zloty, like you could just feel the energy in the room. There was 100 people more serious, about arm wrestling. It's just completely different. And like, you can feel it. I don't speak, I didn't talk to anybody because most people don't speak English, but like you could just feel the energy in the room,
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Absolutely.
one guy wrote that he didn't know that Herman and Joshua helped with East versus West. Yes, guys, the Joshua and Herman are the people also. Derek Smith helped us right from the beginning. Ray helped us, and but mostly the mine guys with these guys here, and but they just couldn't handle me. They were like, "You're out of control." They were right. They were right about it. They were right. I have control problems. I'm not denying. I have problems, but I mean I'm trying to like. Can you imagine? Like, can you imagine? I did like. I will tell you how my problem, serious problem I have. I organized East versus West 3 in May. In next 5 days, I set the matches for East versus West 4. And I said, why are you doing this? This time, I set the East versus 5 even before East versus West 4 happened.
Yeah.
Already 3 weeks before, I already said 8 matches. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know what's
remember.
wrong with me.
I think you said after 3, you set the 4 matches at 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
It
that
was
say?
after one of them. After one of them, Ingen, I said, Ingen, take some time off, get
Yeah.
some sleep,
Yeah.
write down everything you did good. I said, write down everything maybe that you need to work on, organize
Yeah.
yourself. And you said, okay. And then like the next day, you had a whole card full of matches.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. We woke up and the card was planned already.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not because I have any, like, whenever I talk with you, I say yes to you. I don't have anything behind my mind. I say
Of
I
course.
agree with you. But
Yeah.
whenever I stay alone, then something's control me. And then I just lay on the bed and I'm like, okay, this guy should pull this guy, this. If I set this match, community will be happy, and this and
Yeah.
this match needs to happen. This guy was needing a match. If I don't set him, he will be upset. Just all emotional reasons. But at the end, then whenever you see the price of it, then you are like, oh, what did I do? What did I do?
Yeah.
And then you try to cover the event. I'm glad that you guys are here, and because I consider you guys as friends, and also it is also you guys are very, very special person, but it is also because you know everything from the kitchen, right from the beginning. Yeah.
It's been a wild ride and it's been a lot of fun.
I think we should do this. We should do this weekly. I tried to do that before Devon versus Levon match, but
Yeah.
there was so much hate, and I was like, okay, I didn't want headache, just so much. Yeah.
That's true. There was a lot of hate, but now that match is over, most of those people that were barking disappeared. There's a few of them out there still, but most of them, I think a lot of people, were kind of shocked by the outcome because they really believed that Devon was going to pull off a miracle.
Yeah, better change the subject, Josh, before.
Change the subject before we start getting
I don't want to. Anyway, so that's good. That's good. And what do you guys expect from this card? Like if we talk about the specific matches, we talk about it, but just if we talk, because we are like about a little bit more than 2 weeks away from the event, and like which match are you guys looking for forward? If you guys remember the whole card.
Yeah, I mean, well, having just trained with Jerry last week, I've got a lot of thoughts about that because he's really been training at an insane level for the last month and a half with the practices that we've been putting together.
Josh, have you been in all the trainings with Jerry lately?
No, I haven't been in all of them, but there was a big one that we did on Wednesday. I went to one a couple of months ago and then one this week. So like the difference between
how do you see the progress?
I'll tell you honestly, I mean, first of all, whenever you're pulling somebody like Jerry and you're a normal person like me, it's kind of hard because he is an absolute wall. But even against people like when I've had the opportunity to pull Dave Chaffee too, and sometimes you find like a little bit of movement somewhere in the hand and you're like, oh, there's a tiny opening there. And you, with Jerry, sometimes you feel that too, but this, at the beginning of practice, especially, there's two things I noticed. One, his shape is different. So he's more muscular than I've seen him when he was in WAL, and his weight looks more efficient. So I feel like even though his weight is similar to WAL weight, I feel like it's more muscle. And in the first hour, he was absolutely immovable by anybody. And we had a lot of big guys there. You know, Tiete was there. With some other, you know, Fitzy was there. There were a lot of big people and big names there. Frank Hurst. And all of us were just like, it was like pulling a building. And it wasn't until we finally got him to stay on the table for, I think it was 45 minutes straight, just pulling people over and over and over again. At the end of that, like if you watch the practice that Paul Italia put up, like you'll see a few people starting to take his hand. And that was after 45 minutes of continuous pulling of the 50 or so guys that were there. So I was really impressed.
So what's your intake? You know, like can you say that he's in one of his best ever shapes right now?
You know, I only have a small memory of him when he was in his WAF form, you know, around 240 when he was incredible. But he's definitely, I'm confident saying he's in better shape than he was in, you know, for WAL with Devin or Michael Todd. So I think his shape now is better than it was for either of those two matches.
Okay. Yeah. And so do you expect a war from that match?
He kept telling me, is like, I'm not going there to lose. I'm not going to lose. It was like almost like a mantra. Because we were talking about, what do you think, you know, Gennady's going to do? You think he's going to do this? You think he's going to do that? And he had a lot of thoughts about it, which I won't share. But I mean, he just really seemed committed to going over there to win.
Okay.
And even that was different. Like when we were training for Devin or we were training for Michael Todd, he was like, I think I'm going to beat these guys. I'm going to give them a hard time. But it wasn't like that same like determination that he has. You know, I think part of it is he knows he's kind of been training for the last 2 or 3 months, and Gennady's been training straight for 5 years or whatever it is. So that's an uphill battle for him. So I think it's really motivated him.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's healthy, he is experienced as well. I don't think that, you know, he really needs to start everything right from the beginning. Whatever I saw, he looks big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Herman, you are one of the a few people in the community that likes to talk what is in mind, you know, just straight away, you know, and so how do you see this match?
Yeah, I'm most excited about this match because I'm a huge Gennady fan.
Yeah.
And because Jerry hasn't been pulling, but he acts as if he's been pulling, and he acts as if he's, you know, the best guy in North America or something along these lines. So I'm just glad for him to get on the table so we don't have to talk anymore or listen to the comments. You know, we'll see if Jerry's good or if Jerry's in shape and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm just really curious. You know, I think he's going to be healthy and rested, but I think some of the training when you're like these really big guys or the tournaments or the matches, you know, like WAL Jerry, he was pulling, you know, every couple months or 3 months. I think he was in good shape, but I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen him pull. I mean, Josh, I don't know, has he pulled any local tournaments with any real super heavyweights? I mean, I haven't seen it.
The closest he got is he helped run a tournament in New York City, but I think he only after pulled at that. He wasn't in the event. So he hasn't pulled an event or a super match since WAL.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a long time. And then like, you know, I know you said his shape is completely different. He definitely looks different, you know, so I don't know what's changed, if it's training or supplementation. But I mean, when people change stuff like that, their body tends to respond differently. You know, I've had training partners over the years, they get really big, they get really muscular. And as soon as they get on the table, they get a pump, you know, and I just don't know if Jerry can simulate Gennady, you know, in the gym or at a local practice. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's really bad, like Gennady just beats him really bad. But I hope it's a war.
Well, you know, I mean, the thing is that with Jerry, he loves when people try to top roll him. You
Yeah.
know, so because I mean Gennady is a very diverse puller as we've seen over his last 3 matches, but we know his top roll's amazing, and I feel like he's going to try to test that. And I think that if he does, and Jerry tricks him into like a long bleed out match, Jerry can be in almost a resting position when he's in his full flop press, and the top rolling person has to be expending almost maximum effort to hold him. So I think something like that happens, it could be bad.
Yeah.
Mhm. So my question to you, Herman, you were questioning if Jerry is like in his best shape or not because he hasn't been pulling as he used to pull regularly. So what if he is in that shape, in his best shape that you have ever seen? Uh, does it make difference in your opinion?
Yeah, it can make the match tough, but I mean, we've seen Jerry in good shape lose to Ron Bath, John Brzenk, Dave Chaffee, etc. I think Gennady is as technical as any of those guys, and he can hook with some of those guys. So Gennady could kind of just push him sideways. Gennady doesn't have to top roll him. And I really haven't seen Jerry in like any super elite hook matches. Like, I don't want to hook with Jerry. The number 7 guy in the United States doesn't want to hook with Jerry, but I don't think I've seen Jerry hook with Dave or Dennis or even like early Levon or even Gennady. I haven't seen him get into a hook match with anyone at that level. So I really don't rate his hook that highly. Again, he might beat some of our better super heavyweights in a hook, but it's possible that, Gennady just goes inside and Jerry, I don't know if you've seen it, but some people will go low on Jerry and he will still try to flop like under their hook and he just gets moved sideways. I think Gennady's good enough to do that.
Yeah, if he knows and if he's strong enough to do it, yeah, there is a possibility. Do you remember last time we met, who you thought that was going to win between John and Ongarbayev, Herman?
I said John.
John. And after Cody match, do you now like even more confident, or it didn't change anything?
Maybe. I think at some point after we last talked, I thought about it more, and I don't know if I was leaning more towards Ongarbayev, but I understood your point about John not being able to control Ongarbayev's pronation. So that's still a risk. But I was still vote on John. I mean, John looks to be in pretty good form.
After John beat Cody West, like, did it make your confidence even bigger in John?
Yeah, I would say so, because he can pull a long match and he can pull a hard match and he can pull weird matches.
Yeah.
I mean, John was in some really bad positions, and I mean, if his shoulder's that bad, I figured you would just quit. So I think he'll be able to have a war with Ongarbayev. Was that Josh?
Do you think Corey was a little injured though from the match at King of the Table?
I don't know about injured. I believe tired, but I don't know. But I mean, yeah, that match was crazy.
Yeah.
2 weeks in between 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If no injury, I think 2 weeks is enough of recovery time for a young guy.
Yeah.
Even I would think, recovering in 2 weeks. Like, I'm all over injured and I'm 47, will be 48 in October. So I about being tired, I don't think so. But about being hurt, if there is anything like that, then I don't know about that. And what do you think, Josh?
I still think Ongarbayev is going to win. I would love to see John win, but and even though we don't really have a lot of video evidence of Ongarbayev lately, I have a hard time believing that he's going to come in unprepared and untrained. And as you mentioned, he's been performing better in the more recent matches in the tournament that happened. And I think that style is going to be really challenging for John. So, I mean, I would be...
When you say like his style is very challenging, John, is there anything on this earth that like could surprise John at the table,
No.
and John wouldn't have anything to counter back. I mean,
I think
I kind of see that only if we dominate John, then there is not much to do about it. But if the guy is not like that Superman, then I always think that John, finds a way to fight back. But
yeah,
you may be right.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess part of it is maybe nostalgia for me because can still see the match with Levon and Ongarbayev. And I just remember being so impressed by him because he was so much smaller and, not nearly as strong in any way. And still he gave Levon some small problems. They weren't big problems, but it's still, because no one really has given Levon any problems, it still left an impression on me. And that top roll is so amazing. And, that Kazakhstan style in general is something I'm so impressed by. I just, and he's much younger. And he's much faster, and I think that it's going to be tough. But again, if John wins, I'm going to be ecstatic.
Yeah, John always surprise us that day, like 4:30 a.m. or something here.
Yeah,
I was awake just to watch his match, and Cody brought him like that far to the pad, and him to fight from there and come back.
I know.
Just like
It was incredible. I agree.
I mean, if the Americans are looking for a true hero, for sure
Yeah.
that is not that Rocky or something. That is the real one is right here, Yeah. And how about, do you guys have any? I have no idea at all about one match which is Cody Meritt versus Artem Morozov. I really do not know. I talked today with Bob Brown, and Bob also said that it's same as John Brzenk. All Cody does is table training. So it is not so much, possible to, gauge, measure his strength. But at the table, we can see the difference, but we don't know how much. And so I really do not know that Artem Morozov's back pressure and Cody's that insane side pressure. I really don't know.
Yeah, but that's why we
Morozov,
started. That's why we started this event, right?
yeah.
Was to
Yeah.
figure all this out,
Yes.
Yeah, I have no clue. Yeah.
You
One
are the
cool
same.
thing about Cody is that I don't think everybody remembers this, even though it's relatively recent. He just won a WAF senior title, left-handed. So he's experienced with Europeans and is used to that style of pulling. And I think that's something that worked in his favor. And he won that class very easily. And I remember watching, and I was like, "What the F word?" I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was so impressed by him, and so I feel like that's going to be a lot for Morozov, and I'm leaning towards Cody personally.
Ingen, did Bob Brown mention Cody's broken arm? Because he fractured
Oh,
something.
he didn't mention anything. He said he feels so great that even his right arm feels so great.
Gotcha.
He said he beat him with right arm people that he didn't beat, he couldn't beat before. Hello,
Oh
Neil.
yeah,
Hello, my friends.
it's because he's not doing WAF anymore.
What do you mean?
Because he's not doing WAF Worlds anymore, maybe.
I understand. You're a troublemaker, Herman. Troublemaker. Yeah. Anyway, so that's, and Josh, you have an idea about it?
Yeah, I'm leaning, like I said, I'm leaning towards Cody.
Cody,
And
yeah.
I try not to vote with my heart. I might be voting with my heart a little bit on that one. I spent a lot of time with Cody overseas, and he's a really solid person. And I love his. He brought his daughter; she competed too. But I also just feel like he's really, really, really good, and he has solid experience against Europeans in a very strict rule format. So I felt all that's going to work in my favor.
Josh, did you grip up with him?
I did not grip up with him.
I'm just curious. Like, does he have a big hand? Like, is he like a true
My
super
hand
heavyweight?
is.
Is he just a heavy
My hand
person?
is. He has. I shook his hand. My hand is bigger than his, but his hand is much fatter than mine. But my hand is ridiculously large. So my hand is No, the only person I know who I've ever locked up with whose hand is bigger than mine is RBJ. But his hand is like a bowling ball. So
Yeah.
I think he has what I would call, I mean, it's bigger than Jerry's. I don't think it's as big as Chaffee's, but it's very solid, very thick.
Mhm. And by the way, when the subject already there, Rob Vigeant coming back, having 4 months to pull Zurab. People says that Zurab right now should be stronger than Sasha because also heavier. But the difference is that is Zurab's wrist handling is as good as Sasha's because I don't remember Sasha losing his wrist once the strap is on. And so that is the problem. The problem is not the pressure that will be applied in hook, because if Sasha and Zurab would go, they would go, inside. But the important thing is that like controlling Rob's pronator with the flat wrists is Zurab as good as Sasha about inner side pressure, without needing to even bending your wrist and applying supinated side pressure. So, my opinion, if Rob is ready, and then I see there is a possibility Rob to use his pronator to stop Zurab's side pressure. But if that happens, then where the match is gonna go is a different story. Because if you guys realize, after the match went to strap, John was easily holding Zurab. But once he brought him here to press, even with the shoulder press, it wasn't that easy until he, raised up and then catch from his fingers and then press him. I'm sure
What's the weight limit?
100 kilo. I think 100 kilo is great for both of them, in my opinion.
I think at 100 kilograms, I think Rob, if he's in shape, is better than Ron Bath.
Yeah, that is also interesting match that Zurab beat Ron, but lost John. So, but just remember one thing: when you say at 100 kilo, Ron being, Rob Vigeant being better than Ron, talking about 100 kilo Rob versus 100 kilo Ron, or you're talking about the 100 kilo Rob against any weight of Ron you're talking about?
Any weight of Ron.
Okay, because Ron was about 115 kilo when Zurab pulled him, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Rob is a more dynamic puller than Ron is. Ron's always been very much a like squeeze your hand, flat wrist, go sideways, maybe it goes into a hook kind of puller. I think Rob has more variation in his top rolls. I think he'll be able to maybe take Zurab's hand easier. That's if he's in shape.
Also, will Zurab be able to slip? But the only thing is that in our events, any slip, as long as you don't elbow foul or you don't come to parallel pin, is strap. So, but it is not that easy to get away from his fingers either,
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. And like I said, I think Rob's better than Ron, so I think Zurab's going to have some problems.
Because people write like, Zurab is going to destroy him, Zurab is going to kill him. The same thing about Zurab versus Chance Shaw at East versus West 4 here, August. I don't know who's going to win, but people says that Zurab is going to destroy Chance. I just don't see that. I mean, I'm not saying I don't see Zurab winning, but destroying, like dominating, I don't see that. Do you guys remember the match between Chance Shaw and Todd Hutchings lately?
Yeah.
I mean, like it should give you some idea about it. That Chance Shaw, people are big time underestimating that guy. The guy is a dangerous guy. But stylistically, I see incredible match. One with the incredible pronator. One is incredible inner side pressure with the lower wrist tendon curling. I mean, incredible match. I am thinking that Chance will have the position, but once he wanted to go for the pin, I don't know if he will pin him or if he will slowly go inside, while you're pressing your tornado, maybe turning in. But I don't know. How do you guys see that match?
Go, Josh.
For me, when I think of Rob, I don't know if you guys know Rampage Jackson, the UFC fighter, but they are like similar in my mind because they're both very, very committed to their families, and they both have such an unbelievable amount of natural talent. And whenever they really committed to training, they were basically untouchable. And for me, it's going to be how motivated is Rob going to be and how serious is he going to take it over the next few months? And if he does both of those things, I agree with you, Herman. I think he has a really good chance of winning.
He better take it seriously. He better take it seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that, but I mean,
he needs to make a good comeback. And,
well, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that he does. I mean, I live only 45 minutes from him. So we're going to get him.
He needs to realize that people loves him. I mean, he's not easy personality like me. I'm not easy personality either. But he needs to realize that, I personally enjoy watching him. I think he has incredible potential. And in my opinion, arm wrestling world needs the existence of Rob. So he needs to know this. Not only he needs arm wrestling, I think arm wrestling world also needs him. He needs to just make a good comeback, like how Matt Mask asked me, and again, one more time, give me a chance to and show myself. And I said, yes, Matt, why not, but just come prepared, just good training. Now he says he's training every day. So he's also coming on November. Sorry about it. You continue.
No, I mean, I think, I know we have a plan up here between the three major teams that are within an hour of him of doing everything we can to get him ready like we're doing for Jerry. So I feel like we're going to keep the pressure on him. And I'm going to keep saying the things that you just said, Engin, to remind him that he's definitely a beloved figure here. And he's a figure that, some people, I don't personally feel this way. I don't find Rob frustrating, but I know he frustrates other people because of how well he did against Hutchings in the 195 class at WAL when Hutchings was completely smashing everybody else, and people feel like he was right on the cusp of exploding. But I know him, and he's got a lot of kids that he's taking care of that he loves, and that's his absolute primary and most important goal. And that's really hard. It's really hard for me to listen to people say things like that and knowing that he's taking care of his kids. But anyway, this is a perfect opportunity because all this summer stuff that he does up at that camp is going to be over. He's going to have a few months to put his nose to the grindstone, so to speak. So I think I'm really excited that you were able to talk him into doing it again. And I think I'm just very excited about it.
Yeah. There is one super chat. Cleaned pink. I don't know. I can't see. Thank you for your super chat. Engin, thanks for all you do. We need to get more lightweights over to East versus West, like the American Psycho. Travis, how do you pronounce it? Tuggle?
Tuggle.
Tuggle, yeah, sorry about it. Yeah, Cody Miller is coming. I tried to reach that. I have COVID. If you guys don't know, I got COVID.
Wow.
Yeah,
Again?
right now. Yes, again, yeah. 4 or 5 days ago, I felt like somebody beat me with a stick. My spine was just I thought I was dying. First 2 days I did the tests. What do we have? PCR and antigen. I did antigen, and it was negative. The third day, the pain was unbearable, and I checked. It was positive. Yesterday I checked again. It's still positive. Anyway, so Harris. What was his first name? My mind is just because
Travis.
No, Harris. No, not Travis.
Harris.
What Harris? The WAL champion?
Sam
Sam
Harris.
Harris. Yeah.
Sam Harris, yeah, sorry about it. I'm telling you, I'm ill, so my memory is not good. Sam Harris, yeah, we tried to reach, but we couldn't. It would be good to have him here. And while we're talking about it, how do you guys see Josh Chance versus Zurab?
I think Chance to win.
You think Chance is gonna win?
Mhm.
The Georgians and majority on the community, I think Zurab is gonna win. I see that 50-50 match. It can go anywhere. I don't think that either of them will dominate the other one. I don't see such a
I
match.
think it'll be hard. I think it'll be a hard match.
And Josh, do you think Chance will, if he wins, do you think he'll just top roll to the pad? Or do you think he's going to have to come up and hook or press? I don't know if I've ever seen him press. But his hook's okay too.
I think it'll be in the straps, first of all. Yeah, and I do see him being able to maintain. I think he's going to be able to pull off his number one move. Yes, to answer your question. So I think he will come over like that. I'm just thinking about his wrist against Brzenk, and what happened, and I feel we see something similar to that.
Yeah. By the way, I wanna say that I'm so happy that you guys are my guest. I love chatting you guys, seriously. Yeah.
Likewise, man.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah,
And
it's fun.
while we're talking about the lightweights, Corey Miller, does he have potential to surprise the community? Because majority are thinking that Daniel is gonna win, even though Corey is gonna surprise him by putting him in, especially early rounds, in terrible positions with his explosiveness. How do you guys see that match?
I'm very confident about this one. And I just saw Corey at Nationals a little while ago, so I don't want him to be mad at me, but I do think that Daniel is going to win. And I'm basing that on a couple of things. And all the matches that Daniel has had with Mindaugas over the years, and then the times we've seen Mindaugas pull elite level Americans they got on those. And just the collected information I have on both of them, I think right now, Daniel's too much for Corey. I think Corey from 10 years ago, or even Corey next year, might be a different story, because I think Corey is on the way up right now. But at this moment in time, I think Daniel's the favorite.
And do you think that Corey Miller versus Mindaugas, both top rollers, would be a better match?
No.
No?
I think Mindaugas is not at that weight with his move. I don't think he's touchable by any Americans. And it does pain me to say that. That's what I think. No offense to anybody, because I love Corey. And I actually think, like I said, Corey is coming up. And I feel like in a year, it might be a very different situation. But right now, this moment of time, I would pick Daniel.
And Herman?
I have a similar opinion. And I think especially at the lightweights, I would think someone like Corey or Sam, you would have to pull these guys a few times to really get adjusted. Like you'd have to pull Daniel, maybe lose, go back to training, pull another guy, lose, go back to training. And then I think you could probably grow to the level. But just being in the United States and then just going to a WAF champion in the lightweights, it's not likely.
But the category being 80 kilo limit, would it give some kind of advantage to Corey, since Daniel heaviest ever competed was like 165?
What's Daniel's current weight, or what do you know?
Probably he will be near 80, but remember that last wars he pulled 70 kilo, 154. I'm sure that he will gain weight to be around there. But like one is like Corey is almost everyday weight, like all the time competing weight. Like they are actually meeting at Corey's weight category, not meeting somewhere at 165 or something.
Yeah, I think when you're gaining weight like that, it could impact Daniel's endurance. But I think he's going to be so strong that it might not matter. Now, I thought earlier that Corey would have an advantage because I thought Corey was a lot bigger, not weight, but I think you told me, I think Daniel was like 5 feet, 8 inches or something like that. I thought Daniel was much smaller,
No.
frame wise. Yeah. So if they're similar in height and structure, I don't think the weight's really going to matter.
I don't know how tall is Corey?
5'9", 5'10".
Yeah, I would say he's taller than 5'8", but not by a huge amount. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Herman. I feel, I think, again, the amount of tournament pulling and the quality of tournament pulling that both have done is also a factor. But I think Corey, I'm really happy that he pulled Giannis and he's getting a chance to pull Daniel because Corey is definitely one of our athletes who has the most growth potential. I think it will inspire him, and whatever happens that he's further west, it's going to end up setting a fire under him. I think he does a lot of other stuff for the community. Like he runs tons of the events. Like he has his own bracket system, and most of the bigger events in the Midwest, he runs them. And a lot of other people use his bracket system. So he's done a bunch of, and he's also trying to set up the first ELO ranking system for the United States, which would be incredible. So he's doing a lot of cool stuff. I just think it would be good for him to get more exposure overseas.
How do you guys think that Paul Talbot November meeting Daniel at 187?
I think Paul Talbot is amazing right now. So yeah, I have a hard time not voting with my heart on that, just because I feel like, oh man, let me think about it for a minute.
Yeah.
Well, Ingrid, Paul Talbot's pulling for Kupchak.
Yeah,
in
left
November?
arm in November. Yeah, left arm.
So
But 187.
Paul Talbot is also pulling Jonathan Brita in September.
And yeah.
Well, I don't know. He might be pretty damaged after that. I mean,
Yeah, September, but November, there's 2 months in between.
oh yeah. Okay, I was thinking a month. Yeah, you're right. 2 months. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Paul likes to do this sort of weird stuff with his elbow. Yeah, hopefully he's not injured after pulling Brita, but he's definitely going to lose that match. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I think he might still be. He might be too injured after Brita to pull Daniel.
Herman, what was your opinion about the Zurab versus Breda match?
Oh, Zurab was just too strong. I mean, that's
No,
really what it is.
no. Before the match.
Oh, I thought Jonathan was going to be able to give him some problems because of how Jonathan was handling Ron Bath, in Alabama when they pulled, right? So that's where my data was coming from there. Clearly Zurab's on another level though.
I understand. Yeah.
But it's like I said, you can't, even if Jonathan was strong enough, like I said, I don't think you're just going to go and have the success. I think you have to pull with these guys more to really understand what you're doing,
Yeah. See,
or Jonathan and I would have to change our training to get ready for that.
This is what I try to say to people. The reason that right now is looks like has the edge generally. First of all, we need to set this. We're talking about West, mainly one country and some Canadian athletes. When you're talking about East, you're talking about 10 different countries. You're talking about. So it is like, just imagine instead of US, there was Georgia, and you say, West, and then you say East, you're talking about USA, Kazakhstan, Bulgaria, Russia and Turkey. Yeah, so that is just like very unfair to the American arm wrestlers. You understand? They are like one against world, type of thing we're talking about. But second thing that I want to talk about is that East has the edge, but do you realize how much competition in last 30 years? Like every WAF, every European Championships, every Zloty Tour. Do you realize that how much they learn from those 3 tournaments every year? They go, all each other, different styles and everything. They go home and with more knowledge, they progress. And everyone does this. And then 3 times a year, these people meet again and again and again and again. The competition is just make them incredible level. So what I'm just saying that if you guys agree or not, you both have been here a lot. And don't you think that this East versus West is good about the both sides learning from each other, but most for the American pullers learning by pulling all different, because they have been pulling only with each other, while
Yeah,
these
no.
people are pulling with all many countries. But these people are also learning. I mean, pull against Rambet, you learn a lot. Pulling against John Brzenk, I mean, like how much confidence was Zurab before the match? He was saying he's 50% stronger than the time that he pulled Rambet, because he said he had COVID. Now it is because he doesn't have COVID. He trained better. He's much stronger, but still he could not control John. His pin was just like while trying to slip his hand, and John was holding on. First one was questionable. Second one, even John didn't question. John said, "Yes, I shouldn't try to hold on," and he just. But it was not really controlling John and beating. It's because John didn't want to let him go. But
Yeah.
do you realize how much he learned from that match? He felt something that he has never felt before, and most likely he will never feel again. That kind of hand control and everything. He was like, how the hell is possible? A 58 years old man, he doesn't even have the gym training while I'm lifting whole gym every day. And then how this guy generates such a power, You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so I agree with you on the impact. I think it's definitely is going to help the United States become better. I've told people before, and this isn't the only case, but Voskin coming here as a WAF gold medalist at 132 pounds, I think he set the level for our lightweights. I mean, he was beating our 54 guys, our 176 guys. He was beating some of our top 198 guys. And I think everybody had to get better, right? So just having that one guy come live here, I think changed United States arm wrestling. I'm sure when Roman came for the short period he was here, or Jambul Vibliani, that made everybody kind of step up their level when you see such a small person, beating our super heavyweights. So
And
I
you can do
completely
the
agree.
same thing.
Yeah. But about the population logic, I don't know, Josh. Like then that understanding, China would be killing every country in every
Yeah.
kind of sports.
It's
Yeah.
not the population. I agree with you. I think it has to do
Yeah,
with
yeah.
like the cultural
I mean,
significance of the sport in
Yeah.
every country.
Yes.
And-
And then a lot of the countries are smaller, and so you have these like cities. So you talk to Crossy. I mean, they can go to practice, and you have Crossy, Bojidar,
Yeah.
Jordan, all in the same group. I've been arm wrestling for 12 years, and I just found a training partner that's almost equal in Jonathan.
Yep. That's another thing. Yeah.
And I finally have a training partner on this level.
Yeah. Many of those Georgian athletes in Tbilisi, around Tbilisi, some of them are in Batumi, but most of them, I think, around Tbilisi. And so they can meet all the time, So that also matters a lot. Yeah. Yeah. So there are many different matches. I just saw Egle. Did you guys see the video that she was climbing the rope like
No, I didn't.
crazy? Oh yeah, it was on the Instagram. If you check her Instagram, maybe a few days ago, and I just saw. But people also knows like Gabriela. She's very popular. She's also very active about competition and about social media. And Egle was kind of away from arm wrestling. She just pulled last 2 European championships, and she's not that active about as an athlete on the social media. And people underestimate Egle. I'm not saying that Egle is gonna win. I'm not saying Gabriel is gonna win either, but people should not underestimate Egle. Do you guys know Egle well enough? I mean,
I don't know her
Yes,
as
it's a
well as I
monster.
know Gabby, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think, my initial impression when you first announced it was that she had an edge over Gabby. But I also thought, like what you said about the tournament experience recently, Gabby has been obviously doing really well. But I still think maybe Egle has an advantage.
Yeah. One guy, Andreas, I think, you're from Greece, right? Wrote that I think back in 1990, Zaur was competing in a unified team with the Russians. I remember a national uniform. It was saying in, I think the World Championship was in 1991, Israel. I didn't go. My first Worlds was 93, but I think I remember on a like a professional video filming, it was saying Soviet Georgia. I think Soviet Georgia they were representing in 1991. Not really Soviets, not Georgia, but Soviet Georgia. So this is what I remember. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so that's also interesting match. And I don't know. There are Irakli versus Krasimir. How do you guys see that match?
And
Did you
I
guys
have such
have
a hard time
any
predicting.
opinion change after king of the table? His win against Marcio or Joshua?
I was shocked by that. You know, I was the one match I was most confident about at that on that card, other than obviously Levan and Devin, was that match. I was really shocked that Irakli did that to Marcio. So as a result, it changed my opinion about this match also. Um, yes, I think Irakli.
Irakli and Herman?
I'm not sure. So Crossy's going to lose his hand. It's going to go to the straps. Crossy's probably still going to lose his hand. And then can he beat Irakli then? Yeah, it's going to be tight. I don't know if I'm like sold on Irakli just having the arm power to drag Crossy across the table.
No.
But I think that's what it's going to look like. It's going to be Crossy here pressing, and then Irakli trying to get a pin. I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I mean, Crossy said he was healthy, you know, so who knows? But
Yeah,
also know,
thank
like,
you.
I think in some ways, I talked to Crossy about it. His arm range is so limited that
Mhm.
I don't know if he's better now than he was 5 years ago. You know, his arm goes to about like here and here.
Yeah.
You know, whereas when, let's say Todd, or let's say if I was going to go sideways with no hand, I can do this.
Mhm.
Right? You've got a lot more sideways pressure here than you do out there. So, yeah, it doesn't really sound good from Crossy just because of his arm limitations.
And Josh?
To me, Turner just made a good point. When was the last time Crosby actually lost to somebody lighter than him? I think he went back and forth with Sasha, but that was a number of years ago. I can't think of anybody else that was lighter than him that beat him recently.
Marcio, Saptabi said that he lost to Marcio, but I saw Marcio, how he looked there. I don't think that Marcio was lighter than Krasimir. I'm sure he was heavier than Krasimir. I don't know. That's interesting. You guys want to finish it? Do you guys have a little bit more time to cover a few more, or?
I have time. It's really until you guys get bored of me. I think it's the main thing.
No.
Yeah, let's cover a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
There's
So
all these matches on here that are
Dave Chaffee and Artem Morozov. Does
Chaffee.
Artem Morozov have any chance to surprise Dave? And I was thinking the same logic. And then somebody asked, you know, with the super chat or something to Artem. They said, Artem, you could not move Prudnik. How are you going to beat Dave Chaffee? And Artem says something that made sense to me. He said that Prudnik is so technical with such a great hand control, with an incredible start that he puts you out of position so quick, so that you can't apply your power. You're out of position already. While he said Dave Chaffee is probably stronger than Prudnik, but it's all about the side pressure, he said. So he said, I will be able to use my power, what I have against Dave, but I couldn't use it against Prudnik This is what he said. Any opinion about it?
It makes sense.
Go ahead, Josh.
But I mean, it makes a lot of sense, but I still don't. I don't think he can beat Chaffee.
Mhm,
I'm not giving up on Chaffee yet. I mean, the last match with Gennady, I mean, I still feel like Chaffee is getting an advantage over Artur, but he does make a good point, and I think he's 100% right about Brzenk. Brzenk is an absolute genius on the table, which we've all seen when he was in the 198 class. Never mind now at the super heavyweight level. So it's an excellent point, but I think people underestimate still. I don't know why, but they still do underestimate the amount of force Dave creates in that direction and how hard it is to stop it even once. And
yeah, the way that he beat Gennady in first 2 rounds.
Mhm.
Imagine that is the way that Gennady went against Hermes outside. Gennady, first 4 rounds he tried to go outside, and Hermes had the control. But to pin him, Hermes had to work a lot. While when I say a lot, he just like had to go shoulder pressure, this and that. While they just clearly dominated Gennady in first 2 rounds when Gennady wanted to go outside.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say? So I think that they, with that side pressure, is incredible level. I think this is, and imagine that Gennady, Herman, do you think that Gennady that pulled Hermes in last December and Gennady that pulled Dave in May, same Gennady, or you think he improved a lot?
No.
So he improved a lot. So what I'm just saying that Dave pulled against stronger version of Gennady. Those first 2 rounds I'm talking about. So Gennady was stronger than the time that he pulled against Hermes, but still Dave, when Gennady tried to pull same way he wanted to pull against Hermes, Dave just dominated him,
Yeah,
So
and
I
Gennady
think
is probably more
Dave is-
technical than Morozov.
Yeah, yeah.
So what is Morozov going to do? And the other thing is, it's like Dave has a lot of side pressure, but he's really posting and going back. He's not going straight sideways when he's beating these people.
Mhm.
So I think when Morozov grabs his hand, it's not going to be just pushing sideways. Dave is going to like rise over his hand and go sideways, and I think it's going to be a problem.
I agree.
And Josh?
Yeah, I agree. I think I think he'll beat him much more easily than I mean, he lost to Gennady, but I think it'll be a similar start and that the finish will be easier for Dave. I could see Morozov getting around, but I think Dave is going to win relatively easily.
Yeah, and then like the real complicating factor is Dave's health. Like I still don't know what happened. I didn't talk to him. I don't know what happened after the first 2 rounds. I don't know if he was tired. I don't know if it was a nerve problem.
His hand was pumped, he
Okay.
was out of gas, he said,
Yeah. Because I know like he's had neck issues.
Yeah.
I've had neck issues. Sometimes you feel 100% and you wake up and your arm is like 60%.
Yeah,
Yes,
Just to get the nerves,
I
like
experience
it
it all the
sucks.
time. All the time, I have the same problem. Yeah. Do you guys think that Chance Shaw is getting paid by Jerry Cadorette to make Jerry's PR? Every time he comes to the chat, he's talking about Jerry.
No, I don't think so. I want to say something about
I'm just joking.
Chance's defense, because I remember Chance was willing. I think it was last New England, or maybe the one before. No, I think it was last New England's. Chance was willing to fly up like the morning of New England's, and I was willing to set up that he and Jerry could pull before the event, so he could fly up, do the match, and basically get out of here. Chance was going to pay his own way up. And I couldn't get Jerry to like agree to it. Chance was 100% willing, and Jerry was like, "Oh, my son's got a football game," that kind of stuff. I was like, "Come on, man! This dude's willing to fly up here. He's gonna be 20 minutes away from you. Just pull him." But Jerry was being a pain in the ass about it. But I always respect that Chance is willing to go anywhere and pull people.
Hey, you could maybe correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, but I know Chance called out Jerry once, and Jerry said that he had to ask his boss if he can get time off from work. Doesn't
Mhm.
Jerry own a car dealership? Like, isn't Jerry the
So,
boss?
He's not the boss. He's got a high level position there, but like in that field, you basically have to be shot in the
Manager?
stomach to not go to work on a Saturday or Sunday, because that's when they sell
okay.
the vast majority of their vehicles. So like
Gotcha.
in order for him to be out of there on a weekend, it's like, it's like major surgery kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay. It's not that bad then.
By the way, Chance, I'm just joking with you, my friend. Don't get
Yeah.
offended. We all know
Chance
that.
doesn't get offended. Chance has thick skin. You got to have thick skin if you're going to be on social media and be an arm wrestler. I'll tell you, because people are all over you immediately.
It's all the potato chips.
Still very thin.
I know, man. You're an exception, though.
Yeah,
I think,
and okay, something that you guys would also know, because the Eastern guys don't know a lot about the Western guys, and Western guys don't know much about the Eastern guys. But you two are exception, I mean, because you guys have pulled around, Zloty and WAF, and what do you guys think about Samusha versus Bojidar at 187?
I'm never betting against Bojidar again. That's my opinion. I think I said this the last time we did this show, he's one of the most impressive arm wrestlers to me. And actually, I don't think I ever really bet against him. There was a time I didn't really know him that well, and since I've seen him pull so many times since then, anybody that's within 20 pounds of him, I'm not betting against him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to get him over. I would love to get
By the way, I had
he over here
dreams.
to tour the United States. I think that would be a great.
I had dreams. Now I remember about 2 matches. Should I share? I'm organizer with me. Okay, I will say. But normally, I hope Bojidar forgives me, but I see Bojidar underdog against Samusha, 52-48. My opinion. Also, I see Derek a little bit underdog against Revas.
Mhm.
But I see both of them having chance to win. But in my dream, both Bojidar and Derek won.
Interesting.
I don't remember what was the score with Bojidar, but in my dream, Derek was beating Revas 3-2.
Hmm.
Just dream, just don't take it seriously.
Well, yeah, it's still interesting.
Derek had the same dream.
Yeah.
Well, it's because if you're dreaming about it, the thing that I think is like, is it all of your technical knowledge of the sport, like working in your brain as you sleep, and that's what your brain said, this is how it's going to happen. So it could still be, there could be validity to that,
Yeah.
And so I guess we'll find out. But it's
A
going to be
lot
fun
of-
watching them.
A lot of people blame me, like, how can you set that match? It's a mismatch. Revas kept saying that. I said, Revas, I'm going to set you a match in November. He said, no, I want now. I said, sorry, but I'm like, budget is, this much. He's like, that's okay, you can pay me less. And I was like, okay. And we need to find an opponent from the North America. You already pulled with Michael. And Jerry's already pulling. And Dave is already pulling. So who would you set Revas against from North America?
Yeah, there's really not many people.
Brezhnev might be fun.
Oh,
yeah, but
that could,
Derek beat him. Wouldn't people tell me that? How come you didn't set Derek but the team?
yeah, no. If you look at the rankings, Derek's ranked ahead of Tim, and so it makes sense to pull Derek on that in that perspective.
Also their match, Derek was like convincingly winner. I mean,
True.
I cannot take opinion over the results. This is what I said. Maybe if team comes stronger, better shape, the things may be different, but there is some results, so that's what I try to say. Anyway, so I think that's all. I thank you very, very much for being part of it. You guys want to add something more generally?
As I usually
Without,
say, I just want to
Josh,
again thank
Josh,
you for.
without putting me into trouble.
No, I won't put you in trouble. No trouble. I was just going to say, like, again, thank you for continuing to put these
Herman
events
knows
on.
what I'm talking about.
I'm not even going to mention that person, so you're safe. But yeah, I think I'm just psyched you're still doing it, Mengen. I'm glad that that the community is really rallying behind it, and that the interest level is going up and up and up, and you have a big part of that. And I think this event is going to be bigger than the last one, and hopefully it will continue and continue. And as always, I appreciate the invitation. I love talking with you guys, and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hope to see you again here, and you can be proud of yourself by being one of the founders of the East versus West, my friend. And I will
Thank you.
always appreciate, always. And Herman?
Thanks for having me. I think the only thing I would comment on, someone asked, when's my next match? I have no matches scheduled. I don't really want to schedule any matches. I finally feel good. So hopefully I can train for the rest of the year and then see where I am and go from there.
I think you start continue competing. That is how you will see yourself. I mean, if you can train-
So
if you can train
Jonathan,
5 days a week, that high level, intense level, why would you put all those miles on your arms right now instead of just 1 week taking, break and just competing somewhere and just some actual pulling,
Well,
because you are
yeah,
rusty
I'm
now.
still,
You train, but
I'm still injured. Technically, I still have some pain. And what I don't do in practice, we don't do any ready goes, right? If I go to a tournament in the United States, I'm probably going to pull super heavyweight just because, and I'm going to do ready goes. And that is way more damaging, I think, than what we do at practice. But Jonathan's going to be pulling. I'm sure I'll be going to tournaments with him. Maybe Mississippi State in September, maybe. And really it's just to kind of see what I feel like. But I think the ready goes are harder and different than the practice.
yeah. Anyway, so I would like to thank to my social media sponsor, Old School Labs. And guys, on the description, you will find the link. If you shop from there, you will have 10% discount. You will use the Engin password, and then you can support me and my sponsor. And there is one more question. Big Grow Goals. Thank you for your super chat. Engin, how much are the sign tables selling for in US dollars shipped? My friend, we ask for the first of all, the tables are incredible solid tables. Arm Fight Factory, there are table sponsors. Thanks them, very much. Incredible tables. You saw the top design with the athletes' pictures, and athletes will sign them. And we ask for the shipping to US. It is about $500, my friends. And the table is $1,000. And yeah, also I want to do you think it's a good idea to do auction, because we already sold 5 tables that the athletes will sign with that special cover. But do you guys think that I should do auction for the table that will be actually used at the stage? People think that, I'm like looking for money or something, but guys, it is this one. I don't know if I told you guys, it's the first event was $75,000. This event is $110,000. So it is really, yes,
We
my
both
friend.
did the same thing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I realized it after I said all those matches. I said all those, and I was like, okay, let me calculate now. And I was like, what is wrong with you, Engi? How are you going to cover this? And so I'm trying to cover. And so I don't want people to think that I'm trying to make money or something. I'm just trying to cover the event. Only the tickets are very near $30,000. It's August, 29 athletes, and some, okay, I don't want to go the details, but so this is what it is. So
I would definitely sell or auction the tables. I don't know technically, like what's the easiest thing to do. Josh may know, like an auction service.
just one of them,
Yeah.
only.
Yeah,
That
I
we
think
will
you should auction it. definitely worth auctioning. It'll go for more than
How
15
to do the auction? You know, the
Does
one that we
eBay do that?
what's that?
Well, I think eBay may do auctions. I don't know, but then like, can Turkey use eBay? I know that that's a large part of the problem. Is Turkey using some of these websites? You know,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a country.
we have them, but I don't use it personally.
Yeah.
I never use that. Yeah. Anyway, so let's meet
investigate.
let's meet next week again if you guys
Okay.
are available.
Sounds
Yeah,
good to
we'll
me.
do it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you, and thanks to everyone who watch us, and hope to see you guys next time. And thanks to our moderators, and you all take care. Thank you, Herman. Thank you, Josh.
Later, guys.
Later. Bye bye.